Hi, this is Dronix, and today we'll be learning about adverbial clauses. Okay, now we first learn how to find an adverbial clause. So you see the chart on the screen, the two charts, and you see these two are both adverbial clauses. Now, adverbial clauses are probably the easiest to notice out of the three clauses because you're just looking for the clause in each of these pictures that are on the screen right now. But adverbial clauses do get tricky because there are two types. And now I will show you the two types of adverbial clauses. So first we have type number 1 adverbial clauses. And this is probably the easiest out of the two types because as you see in the chart, all of these clauses have K, which is very important. You need to remember that they all have K. There's an easy way to remember when you're looking through a sentence or speaking to someone and you realize that all the adverbial clauses in type number 1 have K. And also, all type number 1 adverbial clauses are conjugated in subjunctive. Okay, type number 2 adverbial clauses. And these are a little bit harder than type number 1. As you can see, some of them have K and some do not in the chart on the screen. So you'll see that después K, hasta K, luego K, and mientras K, they have K, but the rest do not. And you have to remember that they are still type number 2 even though they have K. So the way to conjugate these all depends on the first clause in the sentence. So if the first clause is happening or has happened, then it'll be conjugated in the indicative. And this is for the verb after the clause. And if the first clause has not happened, then it'll be conjugated in the subjunctive, the verb will. Now, here are some examples. For type number 1, for our first example, mi mamá me llevó al cine para que pudiera salir con amigos. And we see para que, type number 1 adverbial clause, so that indicates pudiera will be subjunctive. And then we look back and see llevo is predicate, so that also indicates that pudiera will be imperfect subjunctive. So we see in our second sentence, mi mamá me está llevando al cine para que pueda pasar el rato con amigos. And we see para que, type number 1 adverbial clause. So we know that puede will be subjunctive. And then we look back and see este llevando, which is present, indicating puede is a present subjunctive verb. Our third example, tomar ropa extra en caso de que ocurra un accidente. So we see en caso de que is a type number 1 adverbial clause, indicating ocurra will be subjunctive. And we look back, see ropa is present, so that indicates ocurra will be a present subjunctive verb. So in our fourth example, we see le lleve chocolate a mi novia para que no rompere conmigo. So we see para que, type number 1 adverbial clause, indicating rompere will be subjunctive. And we look back and we see lleve a preterite, which means rompere will be imperfect subjunctive. So our fifth sentence says conduire a casa antes que pudiera empezar a llover. So we see antes de que is our adverbial clause, which is type number 1, indicating pudiera will be subjunctive. We look back, we see conduire is preterite. That means pudiera will be an imperfect subjunctive verb. For type number 2 adverbial clauses, here are some examples. So we see that we have our first example. It says corrí cuando la gente soy mi seguire. So first we have to look at our first clause, which is corrí. First we have to find our adverbial clause. What is cuando? It's a type number 2. So to indicate what our verb will be, we have to look at the first clause. which is present, indicating soy, will be a present indicative verb. Okay, our second example. Fui al hospital tan pronto como escuché la noticia. So we see tan pronto como is a type number 2 adverbial clause. But first, we have to look at our clause number 1, fui al hospital, indicating which is present. That means it will indicate escuche to be a present indicative verb. So our third sentence, we have yo voy al cine mientras que Jamie vada. So we have mientras que is our type number 2 adverbial clause. So we know this is an adverbial clause. But first, let's look at clause number 1, which is present. That means it indicates vada will be a present indicative verb because it is happening and has happened. It is either one. So we have quiero estar en casa después de que se pone el sol. So we see después de que, type number 2, we know it's an adverbial clause. And then we see quiero estar en casa, our first clause, is preterite. That means it has not happened, indicating pone is a preterite subjunctive verb. Now for our fifth example, yo iba a ir a prom hasta que mi novio se rompera conmigo. So we see hasta que, type number 2 adverbial clause. But now we know it's an adverbial clause. We look back at our first clause, which is preterite. That means it has not happened yet, indicating rompere will be a present subjunctive verb. Okay, on to a little story now. Now this is some dialogue that we have. Let's see if we can find the adverbial clauses in this dialogue. So first we have Joe. Hola, mi nombre es Joe. Hannah. Hola, mi nombre es Hannah. Joe. Voy al cine tan pronto como pues pase este auto. Puedes venir conmigo. Okay, we have an adverbial clause. It is tan pronto como, which is type number 2. Remember, so that's our first adverbial clause. Did you find this? Now we'll move on with the story. Hannah, si voy a ir con usted. Joe, estamos viendo la pokeramente y vamos que quieres ver ocho película. Hannah, yo, oh, wait. There was a adverbial clause. Did you see this? It was a manos que, which means unless in English. Did you find this? Which is also a type number 1 adverbial clause. Okay, let's continue on. Hannah, yo voy a violent. Joe, traja snacks en caso de que no quiera comprar algunos. Here we go again. We have an adverbial clause. Adverbial clause and is in caso de que, which is in case in English, which is a type number 1 clause. That means quiere is subjunctive. Okay, continue on. Hannah, gracias. Movie ends. Joe, ¿te gustó la película? Hannah, sí. Joe, voy a comer para que no me cuantos quieres en ahorita. Oh, look at that. We have another adverbial clause, para que, which means so that in English, indicating that it is in type 1 adverbial clause. So we have, continue on, Hannah. Yo habría dicho que se antes de decir eso, pero ahora veo se loco. Oh. But we also have another adverbial clause, which is antecede, which means in English, and is also a type number 2 adverbial clause, but it means before, which is, oh, my bad, is a type number 1 adverbial clause. So we continue on our story. Joe, todo lo que dure fue que quieres ir a comer. Hannah leaves. Feel bad for Joe, but let's continue on. Okay, quiz time. Now I'll ask you about 10 questions and we'll see what you know. For the first question, what clauses use adverbs? I'll give you a second. I'll show you the answer. Okay, the answer is adverbial clauses. Now for number 2. How many types do adverb clauses have? Okay, I'll give you a second. The answer is 2. Number 3, what type of conjugation do type number 1 clauses use? And the answer is subjunctive. Number 4, what do all type number 1 clauses have in them? And the answer is K. Does clause 1 or clause 2 matter when deciding on conjugation in type number 2 adverbial clauses? Okay, and the answer is clause number 1. Now for the next 5 questions. Okay, let's see that. Now for number 6, if clause number 1 in a type number 2 adverbial clause has not yet happened, what conjugation is it? Give you a little time for that. And the answer for that is subjunctive. Now for 7, what adverbial clauses in type number 2 have K in them? The answer is hasta K, luego K, después de K, and mientras K. Okay, for number 8, what adverbial clause do not have K in type number 1? Give you some time for this. And the answer is none. As you remember, type 1 all have K in the clause. Okay, for number 9, if clause 1 in a type number 2 adverbial clause is happening / has happened, what conjugation do we use? Give you some time for this. And the answer is indicative. Okay, for the last question, what movie did Joe and Hannah see? You have to remember back to the dialogue that we talked about. And the answer for this is mint. Okay, that wraps it up. I hope you have learned a lot about adverbial clauses. I hope you can use it in